Hey everyone, this is the review for the linear systems linear equations. I just want to make sure we knew how to do just a couple of procedures. Make sure if you're doing substitution, when you have y equals something, you're just going to replace that in one of your equations. So very simply, y equals negative 3x plus 5. So you do something like this, equal to negative 3. Distribute. Negative 4 times negative 3x is plus 12. Negative 4 times 5 is minus 20. 5x plus 12x is 17x minus 20. Then you'll add your 20. Let me go ahead and write that out for you. So you get 17x equals 17. Divide by 17. And x equals 1. Now you're not done because you need to find y, but you know y equals this, so you can very simply, by the way, this is my little arrows, so you can very simply say y equals negative 3. X is 1 plus 5, so you get negative 3 plus 5, which is 2. So your solution is 1, 2. The other one I wanted us to look at was these two right here. I know it looked a little confusing by saying like subtraction and things like that, but basically, so I'm just going to move this over. Negative 6x plus 6y equals 6. So basically you have two matching terms and you want to make one of them the opposite sign, so this is negative and negative. So what I'm going to do is multiply this top one by a negative 1, and that's everything, and rewrite it underneath. So I'd have positive 6x, right? Negative times negative is positive. Negative 1 times positive 6, okay, is minus 6y. And then negative 1 times a positive 6 is going to be negative 6. And now we can eliminate. So negative 6 and 6x, those go away. Positive 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3y. And 12 plus negative 6 is 6. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Y equals negative 2. Okay. Now, it turned out that the answer wasn't actually right here, and there is actually an answer to get. So we're just going to take this and go ahead and solve. Don't worry about these. But if y equals negative 2, just go back to one of your original equations and substitute it in. So for instance, I'll use this one. It doesn't matter which one you use. Negative 6x plus 3, we know y is negative 2. So negative 2 equals 12. So negative 6x, 3 times negative 2 is minus 6. And then add the 6. So negative 6x equals 18. Divide by negative 6. X is negative 3. Alright. So that's kind of the same thing here for 22. Solve the following using elimination by multiplication. I've got a 5x and there should be an x here. And a 10x and a y and a negative 7. Well, I could very easily make that y into a 7y. If I just multiply by 7, then I'd have a negative 7 and a positive 7, because I want to eliminate these, and those would cancel. So I'm going to multiply everything up here by a positive 7, because that's the opposite term here. So I'd have 35x, 7 times 5x is 35x, 7 times y is 7y, 7 times 9 is 63. Combine your like terms, 45x, these go away, equals 45, and then very easily you can see that you can divide out and get x equal to 1. Now from there, just go back to your original equation, substitute in, 5 times 1, right, plus y equals 9. So 5 plus something equals 9, and you can go, you can subtract 5, or just know 5 plus 4 equals 9. So if you subtract 5, right? And that's how those work. Now your word problems tomorrow, just make sure you stay consistent. If you sold 3 boxes of chocolates, 14 boxes of cookies for $203, then Jamel sold 11 boxes of chocolates, 11 boxes of cookies for $220. Find the cost. If you said X is the cost of the chocolates and Y is the cost of the cookies, you'd have something like this. Because you don't know the cost, so it's 3 times the cost of something plus 14 times the cost of something equaled 203. And the other one would be 11, right? 11 boxes for the chocolate and 11 boxes for the cookies equal to 20. Find the cost. The problem here is, so the answer here would be D. The problem here is there's nothing easy to match up here. So what you would do, what I would do is multiply this top part. You know, if I multiply this by 3 and this by 11, these would both be 33. So I could cancel. So basically multiply by the least common multiple. So I'll do negative 11 and positive 3. And here's what's going to happen. You get negative 33x. Let me grab my calculator here. You get negative 33x. Negative 11 times 14 would be negative 154. Y equals negative 11 times 203. You get negative 2233. 3 times 11x would be 33x. So you see how we have the matching opposite terms now. 3 times 11y equals 33y. And then 3 times 220 is going to be 660. And so now we can very simply go through and eliminate these. These would go. This added together is going to give you negative 121. And then these added together are going to give you, and then we can divide by negative 121. So y equals 13. And then you can go back into one of your originals, plug it in, and what you'll end up getting is x is 7, which turns out to be, if you flipped over, x. So remember, x is the cost of the cookies, or the chocolates, and y is the cost of the cookies. So $7 chocolates and $13 cookies. Be careful in your answer choices. There's the $7 chocolates, there's the $13 cookies. So make sure you be consistent with your variables. The final thing I'm going to look at is 25. Just make sure that you know how to graph these. So, you know, if I have a y-intercept here, this is going to be plus 2, 0, 2. If I have if I had a y equals mx plus b, my b is 2 here. And then check your slope. What's my slope? Up 1 over 2. So it's 1/2 x, like this. And then with this line, it is solid, so it'll have an equal to. And then it was shaded below, so it's going to be a less than or equal to. So that's one of them. And if I looked at my other one, I'd have a y-intercept of negative 3. So here's my y equals mx plus b here. Let me just draw that, or write that a little bit closer. That's minus 3. My slope was going to go 1, 2, 3 over 1, so a positive slope of 3x. and I shaded, this is a dotted line, so there will be no equal sign, and I shaded above it, so this is going to be greater than, that's why it's greater than 3x minus 3. So you would look, double check, hey, this one doesn't match up, can't be this guy. It could be A or B, so let's go to this one now and check these. 3x minus 3, but that has the equal sign, so it can't be. So it's got to be this one and this one. I know I said finally, but just make sure you can convert these to y equals mx plus b. So I'll do one real quick. I'm going to do actually this guy. Know that if you do this, you'll have to subtract the 3x. And then you can divide by 3. I forgot, this number is actually supposed to be 6. I'm sorry. So that know that this negative has to come down and you have to divide by this negative 3. And when that happens, you have to switch your sign. So you'll shade below, because this is less than or equal to. You'll get x 6 divided by negative 3 is 2. So you get that right there. Okay. So be very careful with that. You'll shade below. So if this is my line, I'm at negative 2. All these are at negative 2. This has a slope of 1, and this one's off. They're all off just a little bit. So they all have the same slope. So this comes down to, is this a solid or dashed line? Well, this is solid. This is solid. These are all solid. So where do we shade? If it's less than, we have to shade below this line. So it's either going to be this one, because that's below this line. That's above. That's below. So then you'd have to go back and check, where do I shade with this one? Because it's going to be somewhere over here or somewhere over here. So then you got to check on your other one, is it going to stay less than? Because if it is, then it's going to be this guy. If it's going to be greater than, it's going to be up here. So that's what you got to do. You can check it out in the key, but that's it. As long as you can graph and do your elimination, you'll be fine, and you'll go from there.